Hello everyone, it's your favorite West Virginia in space, and it's no secret that Resident Evil 9 has been extremely popular. That's no secret to anyone who's been online for a while. However, one of the things that have really come out is just how busted Leon is as a character, and more specifically, people joke about him taking on increasingly impossible threats. And while that is all fun and good memery, the real question I got to thinking is, now, Leon has faced a lot of undead in his home universe. The real question that came up to me is, what if he faced another universe's undead? Specifically, what if he had to fight the undead of D&D? Could Leon Kennedy, with going off his stats from Resident Evil 9, could he be able to defeat the different monster types of D&D in 1v1 battles? Basically speaking, how well would he fare? Now, some ground rules before we get this going. One, I'm assuming Leon Kennedy has access to his normal array of gadgets and weapons he normally uses. There's nothing too special. Now, granted, you could run this as what if he only had access to D&D weapons. However, as information we're going to get into a little bit later, mostly due around magical weapons, I don't want to count this because that actually changes the dynamic of his fighting a bit. More importantly, though, we're also going off a combined version of Leon that can kind of just do whatever he has done in the franchise. This is a rather not a seclusive statement, as Resident Evil 9, he's incredibly busted and doesn't seem to be weaker than any other version. Also, in the 9, he can do stuff like parry cars and rocket launchers and keep up with people who can visibly move faster than your eyes can keep up with them. So, yeah, he's not exactly lack for stats. I'm not even going to try to figure out what his stats would be in D&D, but realistically, based on his strength, endurance, speed, willpower, and everything else, he is incredibly powerful, no matter how you slice it. The only stat he could be potentially weak is intelligence, and even that's pretty iffy. Anyway, let's get into it with our first category. Now, first up, we're going to cover some basically the normal types of undead kind of he's dealt with. Starting off with skeletons and zombies. Now listen, to my knowledge, Leon has never dealt with explicitly skeletons, but he's dealt with basic zombies, and he churns through them like butter. I don't care if you put dozens of zombies and skeletons at him from D&D, he's going to go right through them like there's no tomorrow. There's just no question on that. Next up, I'm compiling together are ghouls and ghast, which, while they would be a little bit tougher to fight than like a basic zombie, but they still wouldn't give him that much trouble, really. Realistically, they would just be slightly tougher. Next up is ogre zombies. This is like a kind of like a lesser version of the giant Seafall in Resident Evil 4, and the fact I said lesser should categorize why this shouldn't be that much of a problem for him. Rights are a bit interesting as their ability to summon undead, and their occasional magical abilities could cause him some issues, but this is still going to be a fairly easy fight for him, just not completely mindless. With Beholder zombies, however, that's going to be a bit more tricky. Now, most of their stats and attacks aren't super dangerous. I mean, they're dangerous, but nothing I think Leon couldn't handle. The disintegration ray, however, could potentially be doomed for him if it hits. However, Leon is very, very good at dodging and blocking things, so I'm reasonably convinced he'll be okay, but the sheer possibility of it hitting him is something we must consider. Next up, and last is the Tyrannosaurus zombie. It's a zombie T-Rex. It's about as dangerous as the Beholder zombie just because of how sheer big it is and its general capacity as being dangerous. However, if you want to put this low, I won't blame you, but I still think the sheer size of the zombie comes up with this. Next up, we're going to go to the ghost and more undead specter things like, with shadows. Now, interesting enough, shadows, I always imagine were way tougher, but they're incredibly weak. I mean, they have some nasty powers, kinda, but not nearly as bad as I thought they were. So Leon is going to churn through these like basic zombies. Realistically, the most likely thing to get him is if you be shocked at shadows attacking him, and then very quickly get over it. And then we have ghouls and waifs, which mechanically, as far as he's concerned, are basically the same thing. These are a little bit interesting as they do have resistance to like not damage not from magical sources, but like not immunity, as weird as it sounds. So I don't care how much damage Leon, and the thing is, their attacks just aren't really good. The only thing that could potentially be an issue is possession, but Leon Kennedy has a really strong willpower, so I don't think that's going to happen. And potentially, if you scared him enough, he would age a few years, but honestly, I don't think this guy ages normally at all. He's just been getting stronger with age, not weaker. So I'm not even sure if that would actually hurt him or just make him more powerful. But even then, it's probably not going to scare him because he's dealt with way worse. So now now that that's done, we kind of got past the meat and potatoes. Let's get into some more finality of stuff. Now, this next category will be for, like, the Royal Undead, which, for this case, is going to be, of course, vampires, and, of course, you know, classic archetypes will be very, very fun for fan arts to see him deal with, and, oh, wait, no, sorry, he didn't actually meet Lady Demetrius, that was another guy, and, vampire spawn in D&D don't really look like that, usually, so, sorry. This is going to be interesting. The Mummy. Not a particularly high-level monster in D&D, but it's going to absolutely wreck poor Leon's day. Not because of any normal attack it does, but because of the Mummy's Curse. The Mummy's Curse, well, Mummy's Rot, technically, its ability is very simple. It drains your max HP until you cure it. And the only thing to cure it is magic. This is very particular, is going to screw Leon over, because, simply put, he doesn't have a natural ability to, well, get rid of curses. He's not a magical character. And if it just did constant damage to him, that would be bad, but Leon has dealt with situations like that before. However, the thing is, it drains max HP, so he can't, like, eat health herbs, or green herbs, or even a health potion to try to counteract that, because it's the max that's gonna get him. Now, I'm going to be fair here, there's a decent chance I don't think the Mummy would get the chance to use that power on him, and even if it did, his sheer insane amount of stuff he's taken means I have to consider the fact that even if he has no idea in what part of D&D he is, he will probably be able to get someone who knows how to cure Mummy's Rot before it would actually kill him. This doesn't apply to the Mummy Lord, however. Realistically, the Mummy Lord's stats are incredibly bad just based on the sheer amount of spellcasting it has. I don't even know if Leon Kennedy could actually beat the Mummy Lord in a fight. I don't even know if that's possible. But simply put, even if Leon does defeat the Mummy Lord in the straight fight, which is already kind of iffy, just based on the spellcasting, but the Mummy's Rot he will undoubtedly get from this means that he'll be slowly draining his health, and he'll be in a very critically bad position to start with. The Mummy Lord, I just do not think Leon could defeat in a fight. Not on his own, at least. Going back down to the vampires, vampire spawns at first. Yeah, this isn't that much of a problem for him. It's not going to be a completely mindless fight, but vampire spawns just aren't that powerful, really. Especially for a guy like Leon Kennedy, who is just an absolute beast. Now, what about vampire lords? Now, you might think, because that sounds like it has the same category as the Mummy Lord, it was going to be a similar situation, but no. Vampire lords just aren't that powerful in D&D. I mean, they kind of nasty, but, like, you really expect more from, like, Lords of the Undead. Like, I'm pretty sure most leader-type vampires and most of the media would absolutely dog on them, and Leon's not going to be much of an exception. Their greater abilities in Transformation Stick would hurt Leon, and I don't know if he'd really think to exploit their weaknesses, but he also just has an insane amount of HP and damage potential, so realistically I think he's just going to chew through that problem anyway, by shooting it to death. I mean, if you really want, but I would say it'd be a much more fight, but really only boss fight level. Now, to end off this video, want to deal with one of D&D's most famous undead, the big bad himself, Strahd von Zakovich. And, realistically, Strahd does not have, in base D&D, 5e, does not have that different of a stat line compared to the Vampire Lord. He does have access to some spells, and his tricks with the castle potentially could cause some issues, so I do think this would be a harder fight for him, for Leon, but I do think Leon will still win the fight. So, basically, if Strahd made the horrible mistake of summoning Leon to Barovia, he's going to get shot multiple times. It's not going to be fun. But that being said, I do think it'd be a bit more of a fight, as it would actually take him some time rather than just, oh, I've run into a boss battle. But once again, I really do think Leon would win that fight even on his own. If he has any kind of help, however, it's just a straight win without question. And those are my opinions on Leon fighting D&D's Undead. Now, I did obviously kind of omit some. I didn't count the Lich or the Undead Dragons, and there's definitely more obscure ones I could cover. So if you want to see a part 2 to this video of Leon fighting more Undead, or different Undead from different RPGs, I have the End of the World RPG I could do, that might be fun. Overall, if you like this video, just please subscribe and tell me more, and I'll do some more if you like. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time.